In this question, we have to be creative and come up with our own measurements that are based on the descriptions in this question. The first cylinder is twice as wide as the second one. So let's take that in for a second. So this cylinder here has a particular width, like that, and then the other cylinder has a width like that. If the first cylinder's width is twice that of the second cylinder's width, I'm going to call this one 2W, and I'm going to call this one W. So the width of the first one is twice as much as of the second one. As for the height, this cylinder has a particular height, and then the second cylinder has a particular height that is twice as much as the first one. So I'm going to call the first one H, and then I'm going to give the second cylinder height 2H. And now I can begin. And let's remember what the formula is for the volume of a cylinder. Well, we have an area of the base, so the area of the base, and then we have the height. So the volume is equal to area of the base times the height. So let's work with that. And since the area of a circle is pi r squared, we can put that in there. So let's look at our first cylinder. So the volume will be pi times the radius squared, and since the width is 2W, the radius will just be W, so W squared, and our height is H. So we're going to leave these in terms of W and H and pi. So we will have W squared H pi. Okay, so that is the volume of the first cylinder. It might not make much sense at this point, but once we get the volume of the second cylinder, we'll be able to compare them. So here, once again, we want to input our values into the formula for volume. I've got pi times the radius. So for this one, the width is just W, so the radius will be half of that, which is W over 2. So radius squared, right? And times the height, which is 2H. And now I'm going to work that out. So pi times the W squared over 2 squared, which is 4, times 2H. And that will be equal to pi times, I can cross this 2 off, and this 4 will become a 2. So W squared over 2 times H. And because we're dividing by 2 here, I'm just going to bring that to the front. I'm going to rewrite it as half of W squared times height times pi. And now when we compare the volumes for the first cylinder and the second cylinder, we can see that they're exactly the same, except that the volume of the second cylinder is exactly half of the volume of the first cylinder. So that is the answer to our question. The first cylinder has twice the volume of the second cylinder. That's the winner.